States at the age of 9. I believe went to the 3rd grade. Miss Shapiro, before she was married. Banyan Creek Elementary School. Miss Haney, 4th grade. Mr. Martin Francis Krupenbacher, Mr. K in the 5th grade. One of the most memorable teachers anyone could ever have had. I still remember Banyan Creek. I remember when we were racing at recess. Clinton Jones, CJ, was always first, the fastest kid. That's why he ended up playing in NFL, winning a Super Bowl. Chris Kerr, Kerr, white boy. I think his mom was the assistant principal. He was always second. Fast kid. Sometimes I'd get him, and sometimes he'll get me. So I was second or third, and Chris was second or third. But I'll give it to Chris. Chris was second. So it was CJ, Chris, and me. Still remember that. Boca Middle, 7th grade. I remember always checking the grades after every test. I was always 1 or 2. If I slipped to number 3, it was a problem. Always number 2. I got into the IB program in high school. Went to college in Indiana, private university. Went to law school in Miami, private university. Became city commissioner in my city of Delray Beach. The youngest person ever to do that. Then I became a state legislator. I am currently a practicing attorney. So I love constitutional law. I read opinions for fun. So when this affirmative action opinion came out, it was a blast. I was excited to read it. Justice Alito, Justice Thomas, Sotomayor. I love reading their opinions to see their perspective. I must say, because I am an attorney, because I am a constitutional law, how can I say this, addict. I love constitutional law. I love reading random opinion. You have no idea. I love reading constant opinions. So I understand what that affirmative action decision means legally. I understand as per the Constitution. I understand why that decision was made. But I'm here not to argue legally why that decision was made correct. I'm here to argue emotionally why it was wrong. It was wrong because African American slaves in this country are not smart enough to get into universities like Harvard. You got to give them something to be competitive. They're not good enough to compete against the African kid who just came from Sierra Leone. They're not driven enough to be able to compete with the Chinese kid who just came over here 3 years ago and barely speak English. Because of that disability, if you will, of the African American slave, and I'm saying that because they're descendants of slaves, those individuals need extra help. I don't understand what happened to them. I don't know what happened to them. I just know that they tell me and others tell me as well, and based on my own perceptions, I can see something is off. They're not as competitive as others. They're not as successful as others. They're not as intelligent as others. So therefore, we need affirmative action. You can't expect an African American slave to ever compete with an American citizen unless we give them some advantage. They're lacking a lot. I don't know what it is, but I feel that they should get the affirmative action. It's the same as in the NBA. People who are short have a disadvantage. If you want short people to play in the NBA, you have to carve out an affirmative action rule for short people to affirmatively put them in the NBA. Now, does that mean LeBron may not be able to play in the NBA? Of course it means LeBron may be out. It may be Kevin Durant may be out. But we need some 5'6", 5'7" guys in the NBA. In order to get them in, you need to get some of the taller guys out to make room for them. It's the same thing the African American former slaves are asking. They are handicapped and they need help. We should help them. And those of us who are privileged Americans need to understand that, and we need to give back.